After this, he went down to Capernaum with his mother and brothers and his disciples. There they stayed for a few days. When it was almost time for the Jewish Passover, Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple courts, he found people selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and others sitting at tables exchanging money. So he made a whip out of cords and drove all from the temple courts, both sheep and cattle. He scattered the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. To those who sold doves, he said, "Get these out of here. Stop turning my Father's house into a market." His disciples remembered that it is written, "Zeal for your house will consume me."
The next day, Paul and the rest of us went to see James, and all the elders were present. Paul greeted them and reported in detail what God had done among the Gentiles through his ministry. When they heard this, they praised God. Then they said to Paul,
"You see, brother, how many thousands of Jews have believed, and all of them are zealous for the law."
I think James was the tzaddik for all these groups, sort of like the grandfather of the mountain for all these groups around which all these groups revolved, but they were all opposed to Roman power in Palestine. That's why they were all liquidated. Josephus doesn't use the term right away. He calls it the fourth movement in his work. Well, these are very specialized questions, but by the time of the takeover of the temple, he's calling one group among them Zealots. The actual group, probably the James group, because this is the group that actually killed the high priest that is responsible for the death of James. And you see in a sequentiality there, like-minded groups have like enemies. The group that occupied the center part of the temple under Eleazar in the 60s, Josephus starts to call Zealots. Earlier he called them many other names.
Remember, Herod the Great, Rome appointed king of the Jews. Only Rome could appoint king of the Jews. Remember what Herod the Great did to appeal to his Roman masters. He built Caesarea, of course. To appeal to his Jewish subjects, he improved the temple with that great court of the Gentiles. He was executed by Pilate. He was publicly, officially, legally hung up on a cross. That's what you do with somebody who publicly opposes Roman law and order. I publicly execute the leader. That'll teach them a lesson. And if they're still at it, I'll take out the next leader and the next leader.